Welcome, one and all, to episode 2 of Titan Teatime. I'm one of your hosts, Petter, and with me I've got my two co-hosts, James.
Hello.
And Steven.
Hi there.
Today we're talking about chapter 120, which is the most recent chapter so far. If you haven't read it, or if you haven't read a lot of the other recent chapters in the manga, don't listen to this, because we will be talking potentially about the whole story so far.
Put it in your save for later list.
Exactly. Do that.
Sasha is the god titan. There. Spoiled it.
There you go. Perfect.
Man, now you spoiled everybody.
Oh no.
Well
You
then.
can't kill the god titan. Anyway, sorry.
That didn't
The
really happen.
God Titan. I like that. But yeah, chapter 120 came out a little bit earlier this month, and we finally get to see that Eren didn't catch the ball that he was given by Zeke. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was at rather early in this arc.
I do not.
There was a chapter where, with this same flashback, and the last time we saw this, Eren tossed the ball up into the air, and then it went over to a different scene. We never saw if he caught the ball or not. And so a lot of fans have been wondering, did Eren catch the ball or didn't he? Having that be a
I
symbol,
totally forgot about that.
like if he caught the ball, that would mean he was with Zeke. If he didn't catch the ball, it would be he was on another, he had a different agenda than Zeke. And now we finally got to see this. He
That's
didn't
cool.
catch the ball.
Yeah, I did not
I'm
catch that.
glad he
at
brought
all.
that up then.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I totally forgot about that.
I was very happy to
Shame.
see that, though.
Okay.
And so it's obvious with this, and of course also with what's coming later in the chapter, that Eren definitely isn't quite on the same page as Zeke.
Right. Yeah, I did not know about that page or that panel. Honestly, I did not remember that. So
It's a cool piece of symbolism.
Yeah.
And
good thing you
especially
pointed
since the
that out.
fans seem to, be like, is he gonna catch it? Is he gonna drop it? What
Right.
is it gonna be? So
Yeah.
so it just shows you how well he has everything planned out. I think
For sure.
there's
Yeah.
a reason for everything.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly when it was, but I think it was like early on in this arc. So
Okay.
Okay.
it was still like quite a while ago. But anyway, I do have a little, like, before we dive too much into the chapter itself, I guess. There was another thing that I picked up on that I'd like to go on a little bit of a tangent on. It's partially relevant, but it's also a little bit of a little trivia, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
We see I don't know exactly what the birds are, but they could be eagles. I don't know exactly, though, because I'm no bird expert. But you know the shot that I'm talking about. There's
Towards the
birds
very
flying.
beginning, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. The birds flying over Shiganshina.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is not an eagle.
Are you sure?
It doesn't look like an eagle,
I'm
but
pretty
it could
sure.
be. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Do eagles
I-
fly
I-
in packs like that, or groups like I don't
That
think they
is
do.
the main thing that makes me kind of, I guess, think that it might not be. So maybe it's just like ravens or something.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about, what I did notice, was that I was actually rereading the beginning of the Marley arc recently, and that chapter the first chapter of the Marley arc, chapter 91, starts also with a bird flying in the air, and I think that one's most likely an eagle in that specific case. These might
Okay.
not be, but I think
Just
it's
having
an
a
eagle at
bird
least.
may be enough. Yeah.
Right, and it's like an eagle soaring in the air, and Falco is lying on the battlefield.
You know what chapter it was?
Chapter 91.
I'll look it up for you right now.
And we see Falco lying on the ground. Like, this is the first time we see Falco, and since this is the first chapter of the Marley arc.
That is a different bird, and I do believe that it's an eagle, or very similar to an eagle.
I mean, yeah, this one is
I
definitely
looked it up.
maybe.
I looked it up just now. So yeah.
But what is interesting, like, if it's an eagle, this specific one in chapter 91 definitely is an eagle. And something that I've been, like, slowly but steadily kind of realizing with Attack on Titan is that Isayama draws more inspiration from Norse mythology than I guess I originally realized.
Norse mythology, huh?
Yeah, because maybe some of them are coincidental, but this supposed eagle in chapter 91, for example, in Norse mythology, eagles were they often represented death and strength, from what I've read, and also are a symbol of the battlefield because they
Okay.
would usually, I guess, arrive at a battlefield afterward and feast on the remains or whatever. And and I don't know, this if this is an
Maybe it is the
eagle,
same bird, but it's drawn differently.
it's, well, we don't see the head. Like in this most recent chapter, we don't see the head, so it's a little bit hard to tell. Like we don't see the
Yeah,
beak and the face.
but I just
But
have both pulled up side by side here, so
yeah, but
it's
these
definitely drawn differently.
in the most recent chapter, I don't know if they're actually eagles, but if they are, that would be a cool
Someone in the
symbolism.
comments, tell us.
Yeah,
So there
if we
you
got
go.
a bird expert.
There you go.
But
yeah.
I mean, it could very well be an eagle. I also find it hard hard to believe it's a raven. I mean, it's hard to tell with black and white, but it doesn't look like
Exactly.
a solid color. It looks like it may
Right.
have even some markings, like streppity stripes on it, or if you know what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
on the tail there, there's like they're not dots, but it's almost stripes, if you will. So I don't know, but again, eagles don't fly in flocks like that.
Precisely. That's also like one of the
But
reasons why I guess
maybe there was
it's
just a
not an
lot of
eagle.
eagles, a lot of
Yeah.
eagles in one place, and they just flew over.
I'm-
That could
I'm
be
going
it. Like
to,
because you mentioned that they apparently are there during a battlefield to eat people after they're dead or whatever. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're just supposed to, like, just coincidentally flying in a pack. They just happen to have a common goal. I don't know. I don't know.
Like they to me they are definitely drawn differently. So
Yeah, but whichever the case, it's a bird, or they are birds.
Oh, that looks like the
and
same bird to me.
I also
Okay.
think they look quite similar, actually. But I mean, I don't claim to be an expert.
Looking at the markings on the wings,
Yeah, and
very similar.
the tail feathers look similar to me as well.
well,
But anyway, whatever birds they are, I think, like, we don't know exactly what's gonna happen exactly now with Falco, but he is lying, like his Titan body is like dematerializing, and he will probably wake up soon. What if this is the first thing he sees in the sky when he wakes up? That would be exactly the same imagery as the first episode of the Marley arc, the first time we saw his character. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking ahead to, like, seeing how the story will rhyme with itself, maybe, potentially, possibly.
okay.
Is there any indication that that's not a falcon he's seeing instead of an eagle, since his name is Falco?
Oh. I mean, maybe.
Could be.
I don't know much about, like, how different those large birds look.
Eh.
I don't know if it's a hawk or a falcon or an eagle.
I know falcons are a little smaller, but
Mm.
I mean, it's hard to tell the actual size of the bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Again, I'm not a bird expert, but it is interesting you bring that up because I mean, it is, at least with Isayama, it's less likely that it's just a nice shot of birds flying over the battlefield.
Right.
And more like this is supposed to symbolize something in some way. Especially with the
Yeah.
feather coming down. I mean, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but
Maybe we'll see that feather land, like, way later. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
But
That's interesting to bring up though.
the tangent that I was gonna go on is related to, as I said before, like, I've noticed more and more, like, Norse mythology references, and I don't know if this one is an intentional one or if it's just a coincidence. But there's been other things like for example, if you remember Utgard Castle, it was in the anime, it was season 2, the castle or the fort where Ymir revealed that she was a Titan,
Oh, okay.
where they were
Right,
like
yeah.
hiding from the Titans.
Right. And they started climbing or whatever.
That Utgard is a place in Norse mythology where it is a fortress there too. in the area, in the realm of the giants.
That's cool.
So that was very much taken from. It's called Utgard, and I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's cool.
I thought that was like when I realized that was shit. That's the exact same name. Just took the same name from the Fortress of the Giants.
Okay.
Which I don't know, and that's obviously a reference. You know, that's not just a
Sure.
coincidence in that
Right.
specific case. And speaking of Ymir, Ymir is also straight up from Norse mythology.
Yes.
If you didn't know that,
I did, yeah.
Ymir, like in Norse mythology, is like a primeval ancestor to all the giants that exist in Norse mythology. And Ymir was killed by the gods, and the gods then used Ymir's body to create the world. That's kind of the creation myth in Norse mythology.
Interesting. So that makes this chapter make a little more sense, or at least understanding Ymir's role
Yeah.
in all this. And we can touch on that more when we get to it, but I definitely have some questions and thoughts on that.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I find it funny, because at least in my opinion, or the way I saw Attack on Titan at the beginning, when I first started getting into it, my initial reaction was that, ooh, they're drawing a lot of inspiration from like Central European settings and culture, and like German especially. I felt
Yeah.
with the German names for most of the characters, and
Right.
and also like
And the theme song in German.
well, yeah, that too, exactly. And also, like, I guess just having giants as such a central theme felt very much in the vein of the Brothers Grimm, if you know, the guys that collected a bunch of folk stories in the
I don't
1800s.
actually.
I see what you're saying. Oh, you haven't heard of the Brothers Grimm before?
I have not, no.
Well,
Like,
it's like
We don't need to go into that here.
the golden goose and whatnot. That
But
kind
like they basically
kind of
collected a
stories.
bunch of folk stories that
of,
are
Hansel and Gretel. You know,
yeah, like a bunch of those. And I feel like giants were around in some of those stories, and it feels very, I don't know, it gave me a similar vibe at the beginning. And then later on, of course, we get like symbolisms like Eldians kind of mirroring the Jews during before and during the World War II and stuff like that. It definitely has a lot of like obvious German/Central European references. But when you dig deeper, that's when you'll find more, I guess, Norse mythology references as well, which I found interesting, especially like as our resident Swede in the group. But yeah, enough about that. I guess let's get back into the actual chapter.
Yeah.
So I guess we get to see a little bit of what was happening all over Shiganshina when the head flew off.
Right.
Get a little recap of that.
Everybody's snap instant response to the shot.
so you know how it has like all these like rhombuses or these wonky rectangles.
Yeah.
Trapezoids,
Part of me wonders
diamonds.
if this is like Aaron's head perspective spinning, and this is what he sees
Ooh.
as he spins.
I mean, in some of the cases,
Okay.
for sure.
Like
I could definitely.
some of the shots, it wouldn't work. Like there's one down here. I forget her name, but the jaw, not the jaw titan, the
Piek.
Piek, yeah. What's your titan form again? I can't remember.
Car Titan.
The car titan. That perspective wouldn't work at all. But
But still, I think that was an interesting way to see it, for sure.
that was my first thought when I saw it. But it's
Some of the
it's
angles
probably
could
different.
definitely be.
I see it as more like shattered glass, maybe.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Oh yeah, and I just love like when we see like the one shot of Zeke catching Aaron's head. Like, of course he's got to catch it the way in a way that it looks like he's catching like a
Baseball.
baseball, you know.
Safe!
Oh,
Oh, no, you're out.
Okay.
Or wait.
I just think that's really funny because he's had like this baseball thing going on throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, Titans are getting loose in the city. It's gonna be rough.
but after the full page of the diamonds, trapezoids, shattered glass imagery, what
Actually,
happened?
let's talk about that one.
Should we?
I think there's a lot to talk about on the page with all of the various images.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed. Um, just quick note: when Mikasa and Armin are fighting Peek.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it.
oh, I can't. I was trying to remember her name.
Okay.
It doesn't look like they're looking in the direction of Eren at the time. Looks like they're focused on the Card Titan.
Right. I also think this is just like the exact moment, so they haven't really reacted to the shot yet.
Right.
At
Yeah,
least that's how
that's what I was saying. Yeah, is that they probably don't realize what has just happened yet.
Right. Precisely. Yeah, they're distracted by Piek.
Right. I assumed that everyone would have saw, but yeah, they're distracted. So that's
Right. They will see though eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yes.
Yeah. So this image with all of the various shards, like I looked through them and I think we can see. I mean, obviously they're all memories from previous Titans, but also from Eren himself. Like we can see memories from Eren, from Grisha, from Kruger, from Frida, and I think also from Rod Rice's father. Because I think the guy like toward the bottom right corner in the large image is Rod Rice as a kid, and I think his father is like, or I'm not entirely sure, but
I'm not sure either.
I would guess it's Rod Rice's father.
That's one I have a hard time placing.
I guess it's either Rod Rice's father or Rod Rice's brother.
It looks like he has a fez on or some sort of cap on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps at all.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly. But there's a lot of different memories from previous Attack Titans and Founding Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if some of these, maybe, because some of them are, like, we can't really distinguish a few of these. Like, we can see what looks like, I guess, like, at the very bottom left, there's a tiny image of maybe Ymir, like, in this realm that we're going to get to later in this chapter. I don't know if it's her from behind, or maybe it's something entirely different.
Bottom left?
Bottom left, yeah, very bottom left. It looks like
Very bottom left.
the bucket girl from behind.
Okay, well, you're going to have to point this out to me later, but...
All right.
Yeah, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I see a key.
Are you talking about the one that's to the left of the key?
Yeah.
Okay, that's way too small, buddy.
That's been cut out. You can't see anything there.
Oh, do you not have like a full image?
I mean, looking at it right now, there's...
I am as well.
I don't know. To me, it's obviously hard to see, but my
Okay.
spontaneous reaction is that could be Ymir from behind.
How can you even tell that's a person?
That's way too small.
Whatever. Well, I wonder though. Maybe if some that's like the most obscure one probably. But there's a few other ones that are a little bit questionable, and I wonder if maybe some of those could be from previous Warhammer Titans too, because none of the obvious ones are. And we know that Eren is just as much of a Warhammer Titan as he is an Attack and a Founder Titan.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Titan we know the least about as far as, like, lineage is concerned?
Yeah. Or, well, it's one of them anyway.
Right.
Like, we also don't know much about, like, the Armored Titan, or the Cart Titan, or the Female Titan.
My
About, like-
point being, there's not a whole lot we can distinguish in these little images if it has to do anything with the Warhammer Titan.
Precisely. Which is why I'm like, I wonder if maybe some
Which
of
ones
the
or what?
obscure
Yeah.
ones are. Since
I see what
there
you're
should
saying.
also be some from that one, I feel.
Yeah. Unless he's just pulling images from people relevant to Eren in a sense. But I don't know.
Right. I mean, we do see Eren Kruger, who is not really, like, he's not really a person that Eren ever interacted or met
More like meaning more like important for
for the story.
Yeah. Not like
Yeah,
Warhammer, just random something or other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
true. That's true.
This is not the page to put something random in.
Although I wouldn't put it past Izuyama. If he snuck something in here, I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah.
You're just gonna disagree with us the whole time? Fine. be that way. I'm just kidding. I like how Annie's here. Finally, Annie gets her time. And,
little bit of panel
that's
time.
it.
Her 5
That's
seconds
it.
of fame.
She's
yeah.
done.
All right.
Yeah.
Go back in your crystal, Annie.
Striking her trademark fighting pose.
Yeah, and you got the birds there too. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but maybe that's symbolism again.
Maybe. And we see Historia both as a kid and as a more grown up. So I guess the kid is from Frida's perspective and the grown up is from Aaron's perspective, I imagine.
That makes sense.
But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or not from this page?
No, I
don't think so.
I like a Mikasa's front and center. Just saying.
Wait a minute. We see Falco on the left side.
Oh, you think so? Where? Oh yeah, is that
That's
Falco?
gotta-
I
that's
was
gotta be
having a hard time
Yes, it is.
telling who that is.
And I
Yeah, it is.
didn't really notice.
I'm not
I
one to
wonder-
pick apart every single image in this page. So
Falco.
So who would have seen Falco?
Oh no! But Aaron talked to Falco and had Falco send
Oh, that's
letters.
right, yeah.
Right.
Duh.
So right. Yeah. Mindfuck.
Duh.
All right. Okay. It all makes sense now. Moving on, I guess.
Yeah.
We see Aaron in front of this the coordinate path world energy thing, and this imagery. Now here's another thing I'd like to talk a little bit about Norse mythology. Seeing the paths from in this way and visualized looking like a tree as it really does here,
yes.
got me thinking about Yggdrasil, which is
Yeah.
the world tree in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And like I had never really thought of the paths and Yggdrasil as comparable before, but now that we see the paths visualized in this way, I was immediately like, whoa, wait a minute. So the paths connect the 9 Titans. And also all of the Eldians, but specifically the 9 Titans. Like, it's a connection between the 9 Titans.
Right.
Whereas Yggdrasil connects the 9 worlds that exist in Norse mythology.
Yeah, the 9
So
realms.
it's not the same type of things it's connecting, but it's 9 very major things. And I don't know. I think that's definitely also like it's got to be intentional, especially now that he visualizes the paths as a tree.
I agree.
I thought was interesting.
It's also interesting to see that, like, do you remember at the very beginning, like, Mikasa and Eren were lying under a tree
Oh yeah.
to start, and that's where he had, like, he woke up from his dream or whatever.
Right.
And it was a tree in the middle of a field, kind of a hill, so it looked like there's nothing around the tree. So it seems reminiscent
yeah.
of that almost.
True. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking about that dream, by the way, in the anime, it's much more fleshed out. Like, we actually get to see some shots of random things that could be like interpreted in various ways, I guess. In the manga, we don't actually see anything about what he was dreaming. He just wakes up and he's got tears in his eyes. And they make a thing out of that. Like, Mika says, like, Eren, are you crying? And he's like, no, cut it out. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to become relevant at some point later. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, what that dream was. Because none of it is shown in the manga.
Yeah, but I think the anime works with Isayama, so I think what they show in the anime is still
Right.
okay.
That's true.
To-
Yeah,
to
I'm sure
talk
he
about.
gives... Yeah.
Right.
I don't remember now specifically what we did see in that dream. Though,
Yeah,
in the
I
anime.
can't remember.
can't remember
to tell you
either.
The truth, it's been a while.
Mm.
But I wonder, based on the rest of this chapter, I wonder if we will know pretty soon why he was crying. I guess I don't want to like jump the horse here, but perhaps there's a reason, like Aaron did something. But we'll just
Yeah.
Do you
just move
think?
on. Just move on.
Do you think that perfect segue here? Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, there's a whole nother scene before we get to what I'm about to say. Do you think we'll see that memory in the sequence
That's
next chapter?
a possibility. I mean, I'm expecting to see some more of the various memories. But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll get there after.
I
This
keep wanting to bring up
particular
points,
scene
but it's like
finishes.
we have to
Right.
get to that point in order for me to bring it up. And so it's like,
Yeah, so let's
this.
let's try our best to move on.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we get to see Zeke chained up as well, and he explains to Aaron that his head was supposedly still alive when he caught it, like because it hadn't been severed from the body for long enough, and that way he was able to bring Aaron here. And I kind of see that the fact that there was life in Aaron's head when Zeke caught it, I kind of see that as a confirmation that Aaron didn't transfer his consciousness out into his body. Because if he had done that, his head would have been virtually lifeless.
oh
Yeah.
sure, I mean, he's alive though.
Well, yeah, for now, which is like not even a second has passed.
Yeah, but his body has been built back though. Is the thing.
I don't know.
He literally says that
Wait, what?
for you to recover and awaken.
Yeah, well, but I feel like that's more of a spiritual recovery. At least that's the way I interpret it. Because in the
Okay.
real
I don't
world,
think so.
in
You
the
really
real
want
world,
Aaron to die, don't you?
well, the thing is, in the real world, no time has passed. There's no way he could have
Right,
regenerated because no time has passed.
You're right. You're right. But at the same time, like, who knows what kind of, like, you know how some of like, because Ymir is the one who reconstructs the Titan's body, correct?
Right.
And whenever they, have to, grow another limb, so it's possible that she was able to do that in this world. That's why Aaron's standing there. Like, Aaron was transported to this world as just a head, and then she slowly built up his body.
Right. That's definitely
And that's
possible.
what
And
we'll
it's
see. And that's
I
what
guess
we'll
it's
see.
also possible, of course, that Ymir could do for Aaron the same thing that she did for Zeke when he exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
That
my
is
2
possible.
cents on it, really, and I'll go into my thoughts more about what I'm about to say when we wrap it up. But like, this is where the manga is starting to lose me, in that Aaron has plot armor, and really from my perspective, the writer can do whatever he wants, because if Aaron does come back to life, then just poof, magic, right? That's just my interpretation.
Well,
of
it is magic, but there's always been
I
magic
get that,
in this show.
but that's where this is.
You think
starting
now you're having an
to-
issue with this?
I'm having an issue with it.
He literally got eaten.
I get that, but this is the point where we see, like Ymir, we see the world tree essentially, or world tree symbolism, where I'm just like, okay, this can go anywhere at this point.
Yeah, and that's what's so exciting about it, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, that is interesting. The Zeke's theory regarding how Titans are formed. I mean, he's probably right, and in that,
I think he
Ymir-
saw it, didn't he?
maybe he even did. I mean, he did at least see her shaping his body.
Because he shaped shaped his
But
body.
like the theory about like all Titans being formed here and then kind of sent into the real world and materializing there. I guess we don't know for a definite fact, but I think it's possible.
fair.
It's
yeah.
possible.
I
yeah.
guess that's a fair point. Like, this could not be real, but at the same time, like, I mean, how do we? How I mean, are we? Are you just saying you have a hunch that it may not be?
No. I'm saying that I think he's right. I think that's probably the case. I'm just
Okay.
saying it's not. We don't know for a definite fact. That it.
How
that
do
it's
we know
true.
for a definite fact or not?
I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, I guess we would have to see Ymir build a Titan in here, or something.
Yeah.
I guess so,
Then we would know.
but I think don't they show it? Anyway, sorry, we'll get to that. I guess.
I had a funny thought about that, where like Ymir, like I guess it's just headcanon at this point, but it's that Ymir isn't really that good of an artist. So when she shapes the Titans, that's why they and like she's trying to make them look like the human that it was, but it never turns out right. Like it's always
I could see
off.
that. I could see that being the case. I really
Okay.
could.
Sure.
Like because they always look somewhat like the actual person they were, but never like quite. They always
Basically,
look
from
messed up.
From this scene onward, there has to be a big degree of suspension disbelief.
I mean, it's
it's a
always been the
fantasy
case. It's a fantasy.
well, I get that, but
I don't know why. I don't know why you're so hung up about this right now.
I've really had the same issue since season 3 started.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I remember you were annoyed by the fact that there was a memory altering.
Yeah, among the like religious implications, and now it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But
I personally had no issues with any of that. I think all of these
Okay.
things serve the story perfectly.
yeah,
I have
of
no
course
quarrel.
I'll continue reading, and I still enjoy it to a degree. It's just that this is starting to get a little ridiculous, in my opinion. But should we move on in this
Yeah,
conversation?
yeah, I guess so. I was gonna counterpoint, but
I mean,
let's
you
just keep
may
going.
counterpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I guess what I want to say is like for me, I finally feel like we're getting direction, like we're going somewhere with this.
Oh yeah.
Before it was just like Race to Zeke, the game or the manga,
Yeah.
And now that we're finally here, something is finally happening. And we'll get to that, but we finally know, is Aaron being controlled by Zeke? No, all those brainwashing theories can be put to rest. He wasn't. And then is Aaron going to? Well, I forget what the word, euthanize. No, what's the word?
Yeah, I think that's the word.
That's the word.
Yeah.
The Titans. No, it's a stupid idea, is what he says.
Yeah.
Do we fully know his motivation? Not entirely, but that's okay because we're getting there,
Right.
and that's why I think, despite the fact that we're in Nirvana or what's I can't think of it. What starts with
Valhalla. I don't know. I
that
don't know.
works too. In
I
between
will-
heaven and hell, what's it called? It's in Christianity.
I don't know.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is purgatory. It was just
Right.
a symbolism or something similar.
Yeah.
Despite that he's there, and that may be hard to believe, I think we're finally getting somewhere. Is what I'm trying to say.
And I will agree with that. I do, because now we're actually slowing down a little bit. But I am it's, for my taste, it's going full on fantastical. More so than it's been previously, at least from what I remember.
I mean,
But-
we've already seen like paths and revisiting old memories. Like really, all of the concepts in this episode have really they've been established before.
Even the manga has not the manga, the anime has hinted at stuff like this. You remember when Ymir, when she ate what's his name?
Well, Marcel.
When she became Marcel, there you go. Ate Marcel and became the Jaw Titan, or it was the Jaw Titan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she looks up into the sky and sees the stars and everything. It kind of reminds me of this shot, the shot with the tree and the dots around the branches kind of look like stars to me. So
Yeah, but she was there. She was in this
that's what it is.
paths
Okay, that's what I
realm.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm glad I made that connection. But
Yeah,
I need to find that in the. I need to find that in the manga.
The shot of Emir in the paths realm, looking at the paths in the sky, that was the first time we saw this realm or whatever this is,
Great.
And that happens both in the manga and the anime.
Great.
Okay. I'm gonna have to find that in the manga at least at some point, but I don't remember that specific.
Right.
So I guess that goes to my
imagery.
point is that this isn't necessarily something new. I mean, we're finally understanding it, but
Right.
this has been hinted at
Oh yes.
Okay.
throughout the thing.
Yeah,
It really has.
I'm just coming from like I don't remember that imagery. That is not something that stuck out to me.
We've
in my
seen this
memory.
imagery twice before, at least. We saw it from Emir's perspective, and we also saw it, when Zeke was here earlier in this arc.
Again, I don't remember, so I'll have to
That's
find
fine.
it later.
There's plenty of things I forgotten.
But should we move on with the conversation itself between Aaron and Zeke?
Yeah, I do love it. Like, seeing Aaron finally speak his mind and be like, no, your plan is messed up. I'm not on board with that. Like, I got such a kick out of that. And just the look in his face, just, so good.
Yeah, that look. Oh,
The
gosh.
face definitely sells that version, definitely.
And to be honest, I feel like that's pretty accurate to what
Hmm.
how Aaron would say it.
Oh yes, it's perfect, really. And like
Hmm.
his face, and then the next panel we see Zeke's face, all like, oh no, like shit, like he's in despair, and then he starts crying.
Yeah.
But of course, he's just playing with Aaron at this point.
Crocodile tears.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I do want to bring up Aaron's answer because he asked him why. Please tell me. And Aaron says basically his motto when he before because I don't think has he said this since the time jump. He says because I was born into this world.
Exactly. I don't think he said that since the time jump, but it was definitely a very present thing in the uprising arc.
Right. So I mean, so that tells me, to me that means that he's been putting on this act in a way,
Precisely.
obviously to fool Zeke, but also for his true motive, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So Aaron is still in there, or Aaron is still at least somewhat in control. I don't know to what extent, like where the other Titans, the other Titans he possesses, like if they're controlling him somehow, but he seems to be still set in his own mindset.
Yeah.
Because I was born into this world.
And I just love that. That's so good because this was established, as I said, in the uprising arc with him like kind of coming to the realization that there's nothing special about him except for the little fact that he was born into this world, and that makes
Yeah.
him special. And that comes from his mother, if I recall. She
Yeah.
said that, and of course that's important, like because his mother was very important to him, and her death was very traumatic for him. And so with Zeke wanting to make it so that no Eldians can ever be born again, that completely goes against Aaron's whole ideology of
Right.
what makes you special.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah.
I love that.
Like
that
that.
makes and seeing him say this again, just so good. It felt so good.
Yeah.
Agreed. I want to talk about Ymir the Founder real quick.
Yeah.
Why do you think she looks like a child?
I don't know why. Honestly.
Yeah, because like Aaron's like, "Who's here?" And Zeke's,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, that's the Founder." So, is any Norse mythology meaning behind that?
Not that I know. Like why she would be a child. Because I think it's safe to assume that Ymir, the original Ymir, was an adult when she died. I think it's safe to assume.
You think so?
Because she had lived with Titan powers for exactly 13 years. And before she got her Titan powers, she made a deal with someone somehow, and I mean,
But I
she
mean,
can-
we don't know like how much of these details are true or false or not. You know what I mean?
True. What if she was born with the Titan powers and died at the age of 13?
Yeah, that could be it.
And in that case, this would make sense because she could pass for a 13-year-old.
Could
Totally.
she?
I think she
Oh
could.
yeah, totally. I mean,
Maybe.
13-year-old.
I could possibly see that.
And I mean, I don't know. I'd never thought about that actually. Like why why her appearance is that of a child.
Yeah.
I had never really
Like-
thought about it.
Do you think we'll go into why this is all started, why this has all happened, or is he gonna leave it just kind of mysterious or
Ambiguous.
open-ended, ambiguous? Thank you. With her like this and with the world tree and everything, not really explain it, or what do you guys think? I could see it going either way, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I personally feel though that for the sake of the story of Attack on Titan, I don't think we need all these things explained in great detail, especially all these things that happened so long ago.
Yeah.
Not
I don't think so.
Of course, it depends on how they're gonna solve everything, I guess. But
Sure.
depending on some things, I don't think it's necessarily.
Well, my thinking is because I agree with you. Like, it's not you don't have to explain everything. Sometimes over-explain. Well, a lot of times over-explaining thing is terrible for story writing,
Right.
and I think some anime does have an issue with that. But in this case, because I personally think that Aaron's goal is to not, euthanize the Titans, but is to break the curse, to get rid of the curse, to get rid of the Titan power altogether.
Precisely.
In order to do so, you might have to know why that power exists at all, or how to break Ymir from that curse.
Right.
Because perhaps she is the sole reason why it's all happening. Because of some mythological thing. I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, for all we know, it could be some futuristic science mumbo Xenoblade.
Exactly. Yeah.
Xenoblade thing. But no, I personally think that, or I lean more to the side of there will be some explanation behind the true origin of the Titan power in order for Eren to rid the curse. But I do see what you're saying, Petter.
Well, if that's the case, then how would not knowing what happens, obviously, how would Eren find out?
I mean,
how would he
I don't know. I mean,
because that's what you basically need. You would need Eren to know this information.
I mean, I'm not the story writer here.
Well, yeah. Well, theorize.
I have like an idea of how Eren could potentially figure this out. Mm-hmm. And so, well, we've already talked a little bit about what's coming further down this chapter, so I guess I might as well. As they revisit memories, what if they went all the way back to the original Ymir and saw her memories?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
he has the
totally
founding Titan.
Possible. Exactly, he has the founding Titan. Well, she had all Titans, so anyone could.
Oh, it's just true. She had it, right, but don't you need like the founding Titan to be able to go through all the memories, or no?
I guess so.
Because it feels like he couldn't. Like Zeke couldn't really do. I don't know. I really don't know. But
yeah.
But I do like that theory. I think that's a good idea.
Because what if because they are still exploring, like at the end of this chapter, they're still exploring memories, supposedly. Right. So, I mean, they could potentially go all the way back there, maybe.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
I could totally see that.
But here's the thing, aren't they going in order? Like, in order of time with these that we see in this chapter?
Well, so far they were, but that doesn't have to say they need to.
Well, let's wait until we get there, because we can talk about where it's probably going.
Definitely. Yeah, once we've gone through the whole chapter, we can talk about, I guess, predictions for the next chapter.
Sure.
But right now we kind of see Zeke playing Eren.
Mm-hmm. It's like, psych.
Yeah. So Eren is being played. He thought he was playing Zeke, but turns out Eren was being played all along. At least so far, right where we are in the chapter, Zeke is taking off his chains.
Mm-hmm. I just realized something. 'Cause it's so simple, but Eren, he asks Ymir to lend him her strength. So obviously he has a reason to ask her for her strength.
He does have a plan.
So what if he already knows how to do what he needs to do? Like instead of it may go back to your point, Petter, originally, that perhaps he doesn't need to go into her origin or this whole tree thing. Just Eren just knows what he needs to do. Right. I don't know. I'm just throwing out possibilities, but
yeah, because he definitely, like, the look in his face of like the complete determination and just speaking those words, like he definitely has a plan in mind. And right as he's going to do it, I guess he's interrupted by
anyway,
her just walking past her past him.
I just wanted to bring that up. But
but I do agree with you, like, because you said earlier that you suspect that Eren's plan might be to just rid the Eldians of the Titan powers completely. I've also thought about that as being possibly Eren's solution.
Okay.
Because honestly, there isn't anything else that I've been able to think of, like what Eren's plan would be.
Yeah, I mean, surely not world domination, right?
I think that's a good route to go down. Honestly,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
towards the ending.
Right.
Certainly better than euthanization.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Although that is debatable. Because honestly, I kind of see where Zeke is coming from, because
Um,
so with Zeke's plan, after some generations, there would be no Eldians around at all,
yeah,
and that would be a safe thing for just like the world. There
sure.
would be no Eldian / Titan conflicts
But
whatsoever.
we need to go we need to go farther into the chapter before I can address that.
Okay, but if we go with the plan that the supposed Aaron's plan, which might just be to just rid the world of Titan powers, not of Eldians, there's probably still going to be conflicts. There's still going to be hatred towards Eldians, even though they don't have these powers.
Potentially, yeah.
I suspect. The world isn't that simple. They're not going to understand.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I keep like going back. I was like, guys, wait about this.
Oh,
what
I
is
don't
this?"
mind at all.
It's fine.
But yeah, Zeke unchains himself and reveals that he has the coordinate. He has the founder.
Right.
And the reason why he's not bound to the 145th King's law of war renunciation is that he didn't, I guess, because he didn't eat someone with with the founding Titan. He reached this place without having eaten the founding Titan. I imagine.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was kind of confused about this. I think. So I obviously he was playing Aaron. Like he could snap these chains the whole time.
Yeah.
He says he learned to nullify the vow to renounce war. To renounce war. So, how did he do that? And how did you think he did that?
Well, so my theory is that, so we know that anyone with royal blood, and any Eldian with royal blood who eats someone with the founding Titan, they will be bound by this ideology, right?
Okay.
That was established in the Uprising arc, and we've known that since then.
Right.
But Zeke reached this area, which is the coordinate where all of the paths connect. He reached this world place without having actually consumed the founder Titan. And since he reached this place as a person with royal blood, then
without having eaten it.
Without having eaten it, yeah, he has full control over Ymir and her founding powers.
John Titan Ymir, how did she get here?
Well,
she didn't have royal blood.
Well, she wasn't here. She wasn't at the coordinate. She wasn't at the like where all the paths intersect.
I
she
see what you're
was
saying. She
elsewhere
was just
in that realm. Like,
got it.
I think because she looks up at the sky and she sees the paths in the sky. Whereas here we actually we see like exactly where all the paths are converging. Kind of.
Yeah.
And of course I don't know for sure, but that was the way I interpreted the way that the reason why Zeke is able to be free in here, and for him to be able to command Ymir.
Yeah, so basically, like he says, Aaron was just the key. Aaron was the key for him to get to this spot.
Exactly.
You need the founding Titan to get there, but since, like you said, he didn't eat it, he was able to escape. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. And I don't think, at least, I mean, I was not expecting this. I thought Aaron would have Zeke played easily, the whole time. But yeah, it turns out, at least right now in the chapter, Zeke is definitely in control.
Yeah, at this point, for sure. Sure. And it's interesting that he is so eager to extend Aaron a hand. Even to start off, when from the very beginning he was in control, but to start off he gave Aaron a chance. When we get the reveal that Aaron wasn't going to let it happen, or had no intention of doing so.
Yeah.
Right.
But so it's definitely Zeke has been anticipating this.
Precisely, yeah.
But he doesn't want to give up. Because I'm a good big brother.
Yeah, he's very, he definitely still, even after Aaron reveals that he's not, he doesn't share a plan with Zeke, even after that, Zeke still he's still very soft on Aaron. He's still...
Yeah.
and I think I'm just assuming
Well,
that
and I know
comes from
I know why.
right. I mean, at least I think I also know why. It's because well, he knows that Aaron had the same father as he himself, and he was very poorly treated by his father, and so he
Right.
assumes this was the same with Aaron.
So I mean, we'll get to it again, but I guess I want to say is that Zeke has daddy issues. We all know this. He's had
Oh yeah,
daddy issues.
definitely.
And that's the only reason why, really, real reason why he thinks euthanizing the Titans is the way to go, because he was so
Yeah.
horribly mistreated as a child, and in order to prevent that from ever happening again, he feels like no one should have children, no one should be born, and that's why Aaron and Zeke are such counters to each other in that sense. Is that as we'll hit the mic, as we'll see in future pages of this chapter. Aaron's father, Grisha, loved Aaron very much, and Zeke did not feel like he had that kind of love, and you can
Exactly.
see him just kind of like over almost not melting, but trying to come to grips with this new version of his father that he wasn't aware of, or that he never had a picture of, and
Right.
he keeps doubting himself through the whole time, or keeps like, saying, oh well, that's only because he lost his original family, or he probably forgot all about me and everything. And it's while he's trying,
feels
he's
really
supposedly trying to
neglected.
do this right. While
Yeah.
he feels like he's doing this for the greater good of humanity and the Eldians and whatnot. It is very much a me. This is about me kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I
It is
was
very
horribly
selfish.
mistreated. It is selfish.
Yeah.
It is a horribly mistreated and misunderstood by my parents, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a very personal thing for him too, and he got this idea from Tom Xavier, right? The
Yeah.
previous Beast Titan, and he had also a very tragic backstory where
True.
he, as an Eldian man, married a Marleyan woman, and they had a child. And when she found out he was an Eldian, she killed their child and then herself. That is horrible.
Yeah, that
And-
was pretty horrible.
And I can understand, or I mean, it makes sense, I guess, that he would kind of come up with that idea or that plan and then pass it down to Zeke, who would, given his backstory, would also,
Relate to it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it just stems from. Well, obviously that is a catalyst to it. It just stems from his daddy issues.
Yeah,
It
for
really
sure.
does.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that he says, "I had another father, one who rescued me," and and Zeke kind of wants to be that person for Aaron.
Right.
But I think in the future we'll see that he cannot be that person.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
But he's
they
still
are
so
opposites.
determined to
Oh,
be
yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
even after everything Aaron says and does, Zeke is still very, very determined to fill that role for Aaron, because he cares about Aaron pretty much only for the reason that he knows who his father was. But they had very different experiences with that man.
I don't think it's so much the fact that we're brothers. It's more we have the same father. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And which is exactly what you're saying. But we have the same father here, and you can't possibly be thinking this way. You gotta realize what I know. You gotta think the way I think, because that is the only right way. Is how I'm thinking. Zeke is thinking at the
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And so we see them put their foreheads together and the sparking, and that visually looks a lot like Frida and Historia at the ranch when Frida would take away Historia's memories of her.
Right.
Like they do the same thing, forehead to forehead, like always, like two siblings putting their foreheads together.
Yeah.
And then we go into the memories. Baby Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really digging this part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very cute.
Well, not necessarily the baby, whatever. I'm just talking about the fact that we're seeing Grisha's memories and his time
Oh yeah.
raising Aaron. That
I mean, that is also cute though. Like seeing Grisha as a parent was kind of cute, I thought.
And it's really
Like,
interesting to read the, I guess, commentary or opinion that Zeke has about Grisha's time with Aaron, as opposed to, like you said, James, how Zeke was treated by Grisha.
Yeah, totally.
We definitely get to see Zeke's point of view on how he views his Grisha's time with Aaron as opposed to Grisha's time with Zeke or himself.
I mean, I really think, if not now, towards the end of this chapter, he's probably feeling jealous a bit.
Oh yeah.
Of
for sure.
of
Yes,
the
of
love that
course.
Aaron received. And, I'm totally agreeing with what you're saying, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yeah, and like I said, I don't know if he felt that before or even if it was just a little bit, but I think by the end he's definitely feeling like, well, wait a minute, I didn't have a dad like that.
Exactly.
I think that this feeling of jealousy was always there, but this time it really gets to be shown now that he's seeing these events play out himself.
That's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think those feelings of jealousy were never there until this scene.
That's
personally.
fair too. That's fair too.
And here's why. So he brought Aaron here to show Aaron how their father brainwashed Aaron. Like that was the reason why Zeke brought Aaron here. But he was surprised to see how well their father treated Aaron and
Yeah.
how he
Yeah, I agree.
when he discovered the royal family hideout, how he didn't actually enter the first time because he was concerned for his family. Like all of these little things were surprising to Zeke. He would have never
Yeah.
expected Grisha to care so much about this family, and I think this is where his jealousy starts appearing, because I don't think he would have I don't think he would have revisited these memories or gone to see these memories if he already was jealous, I guess. Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think that, oh no, I had my train of thought that it decided to fly away. I think
Happens.
that, yeah. So Zeke, like we said, sees Aaron as just the guy with the same dad, and he figured that he was treated the same way that
Precisely.
he was, but that's just not the case. And now he's seeing that for the first time. So I think I'm more in agreement with you, yeah, that the jealousy just really wasn't there until now, because he didn't know himself.
Yeah. That said, though, Grisha, even though he was a better father to Aaron, he still wasn't the best father. Like,
I don't know. People give him a lot of crap.
he forced 2 Titan powers onto his 10-year-old son.
I mean,
That was kind of shitty. Like, he didn't really give Aaron any choice in that.
what is he gonna do? Like I don't know. I think I don't what else
I don't know.
are you
I
gonna
don't
do?
know. Pass them on to someone else.
I guess
If he knew someone,
okay.
like, he had lived within the walls for 13 years. Surely he would have had like some rather close friend that he could have trusted those Titan powers to. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just feel
guess
like
so, but
but forcing them
I don't
onto a
find
10-year-old
I
kid.
find Grisha to be a better dad than most people think.
Yeah, I agree with James on this one.
But I mean, granted, if I was shoved that power, maybe I would be a little traumatized. But I think Aaron, his personality, is just aching to have this kind of power. Like I think,
Oh, yeah.
secretly he's always wanted this kind of.
That, yeah, he definitely he doesn't mind this power, and it definitely benefits him. But someone else might not have been as grateful.
Sure.
And like the way, I mean, it's basically it's
Maybe
similar
that just
to
shows how much he knows his son,
right,
and the woman he married.
I mean, yeah, that could be it. But it's similar in a way to how he was pushing Zeke to become like a warrior candidate.
Well, and that's probably where the whole misunderstanding or the presumption that Zeke has about Grisha as Aaron's father is that it's the exact same way. You just got brainwashed.
Precisely.
That's all it is. But to me, it turns out that's not the case, and I really don't think that's. I think one, he loved his son, but also, this was like Grisha knew that this was best for his kid, not just this is best for humanity. This is best for Aaron.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just rambling now.
Oh, that's all right. It's definitely it's interesting to talk about, and also like things when Zeke shows the scene where Grisha is like getting close to influential people as a doctor and stuff like that. He's saying it. I don't know. The way he puts it makes it seem like a very bad thing, which I guess in a way it is, but still, like I feel like it's not that bad. At least the way I see
Right.
it. Like it's
Totally.
really just it's all in line with Grisha's mission, which we all know what it was, and I don't know. I don't think it's as awful as he makes it out to be.
Right. I agree.
He's like grasping at straws to find ways to make Aaron, I guess, see faults in their father.
Yeah,
Totally.
He's trying to manipulate him in these memories.
Totally.
By giving the commentary that he is.
Two things about that. One is Aaron's response. You know, he says all that, and Zeke says all that, and he's like, "Do you understand why?" "Oh yeah, because my dad." Aaron's like, "Oh yeah, because my dad is a terrible human being. I am no longer brainwashed."
Exactly.
And he's like, "You're being sarcastic, aren't you?"
Yeah. I love that, by the way. And like the line he says, like, because my shitty old man was such a big piece of shit that he'd throw his wife, blah 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 blah. And he says shit at some point later as well in that bubble. It's like I don't know. That seems like such a Levi thing to say, just because he uses the word shit three times. That's very much like Levi likes to use the word shit.
He's like channeling his inner Levi.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Japanese.
Oh yeah, like
word is.
Yeah.
He probably saying so.
Right.
Maybe. But anyway, so that was one I want to bring. One funny thing I want to bring up. The second funny thing is in the previous page. You see Aaron just walking towards his dad, and you know Zeke and Aaron are watching it. And Zeke doesn't even say anything. He's just like, next. Like,
yeah. It's like baby
so
Aaron.
Funny. He's like, no.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, this
no
was
happy
one memory.
times. Oh no, this is what I wanted. Skip. Like basically, it's almost as if he can't see this. He like refuses to see this.
Yeah.
To acknowledge the good. You know.
True. Yeah.
And I think as we go on, it just gradually like gets on him. It's like, wait, this can't be the same man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I did like the little scene with baby Aaron walking up to his father and Zeke just being next with like just a blank stare. Like I didn't really interpret it that way before, but it's definitely it's got to be that.
Yeah, he's definitely in addition to the jealousy, he's definitely like, how is this the same? How is this my father? Right? This seems like a whole different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's surprised. And he's also jealous. And the jealousy is definitely starting to build up right here, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And then we see some more scenes. We see Hannes, drunk, of course. Oh, boy. And
okay, this is so funny. So I was looking at the part where they're eating a meal up at the top, and I see Zeke, and there's a person standing next to him. And I was like, "Who's that woman right there?" I was like, "Oh crap, that's Aaron."
Yeah, he's starting to look a lot like his mom.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like with the long hair.
By the way, his mom is great.
I mean, he definitely has his mother's facial features.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Indeed.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. And we see Kenny Ackerman as well in one of these shots, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was probably where he got the tip on like the last piece of evidence to where where the royal hideout was, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I assume so as well.
Since Kenny would definitely know like those sorts of things. And then he approaches the chapel, and yeah, here's where both Aaron and Zeke are surprised by this, though in different ways, I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Aaron is surprised that he discovered this place so early, without actually going in there, and then, well, I guess similarly, Zeke is surprised that he wouldn't just go ahead right away.
Yeah. Totally. And I think, yeah, you know, it's definitely because he knows the time is not now to take the founding Titan. He's waiting because he knows that the Marlians will come to try to take it at some point. And I don't know how he figures out like the timetable for all this, or maybe
Maybe
the
they can
old
feel
Aaron.
the year or something.
Maybe,
I
and
don't
so
know.
he knew that
Okay.
when Aaron is this old, he needs to
Right.
have the founding titan and everything. So
Yeah.
and obviously he wanted to wait to protect his family. And I guess like it kind of ruins the the narrative that he didn't want to do it because of his family. I guess. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to do it to put harm into his family, but part of me wonders if he knew he had to wait, but maybe I'm
Right.
wrong. It could just be that he just wanted to protect his family.
I think he hesitated and was like, no, I want to spend more time with my family,
That's fair.
and then he went to take the founding titan right as he was closing in on that 13-year thing.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why
That
he had
makes
to
sense.
pass it over to Aaron right after he got back from that
Right.
visit.
And it just so happens that that's when the Marlians attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think he was lucky in a way, because I think at this point in time, the holder of the founding titan was probably Yuri Rise, Rod's brother, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Yuri was possibly more experienced with the founding titan than Frida was, because Frida had just recently achieved or received it. And the the main reason, as far as I've understood, the reason why she lost and was eaten by Grisha was because of her inexperience. The Titan itself should have been able to beat Grisha's.
So it was good timing, or maybe he
Yeah.
had some sort of intel on that somehow.
Oh, maybe there could have been things like that as well.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm just throwing out
Could
garbage now.
have been intel. Could have been just luck as well.
Just luck.
could've been.
I wouldn't doubt if it just being luck.
Yeah.
I mean, Grisha, this whole time he's kind of going by the seat of his pants. He's just like, I don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it all to my son. No, I'm just kidding. Although he kind of does, but
He kind of does. If he waits it out for the remain the 13 years, and then just, well, my son, I've spent my time with you, and now you can do the job that I was supposed to do. Kind of.
yeah.
But yeah, when he comes back home, he picks up Aaron, and I don't know if it's actually meant to be interpreted this way, but it kind of maybe looks like baby Aaron is looking at Zeke and Aaron behind Grisha.
I can
And-
totally see it being interpreted that way.
I-
Yeah.
Could, but I doubt it.
Like and of course this is strengthened by what we see right after this,
Yeah.
when Grisha is sleeping on his desk and he wakes up and he actually does see Zeke.
Oh, okay. So when Grisha is holding baby Aaron, maybe, but
Yeah.
not while he's running to Grisha.
No, I was saying when he's holding Aaron
Yeah.
in his arms.
That makes more sense. To me.
I'm pretty sure he sees them in the doorway or sees somebody in the doorway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like definitely. And as I said, like that whole thing is also strengthened by the fact that in the scene after this, which is the last scene of this chapter, when Grisha wakes up, he definitely does see Zeke. He sees the old man Zeke for
Yeah.
like a second, and he even recognizes him as Zeke. So I feel like there's more than just appearance. He feels his presence somehow. I suspect.
Understands who they are. Yeah, feeling a presence.
Yeah. It's like, why would
Yep.
Zeke have a beard and be old
Right.
like that, you know?
So this goes back to my thought about Aaron under the tree when he was younger and crying in a dream.
Yes.
I wonder if at this moment, like Aaron, he somehow is able sees Aaron or feels Aaron's and Zeke's presence or something along those lines, and that's why he's crying or something happens like that this happened. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to exactly say what, because again, he had his eyes closed. So how do you see when you have your eyes closed? I'm not entirely sure. But
Yeah, well, so, yeah, because he says, like, Zeke at first when he's, like, just barely opening his eyes, and then he stands up and looks right at Zeke. After that, he's like, I guess he loses sight of Zeke.
So I guess maybe Aaron. Okay, so maybe Aaron when he was younger had the same thing, and obviously Mikasa wouldn't be able to tell if anybody's there.
Right. It's interesting because these, like, the dream in the first chapter is definitely one of the things that could be related to this whole gimmick. But it's hard to analyze because we've just been exposed to this, like at the very end of this chapter.
Oh, right. I mean,
Right.
But
yeah, it's hard
fun,
to
it's
analyze, but
interesting,
I'm
though.
just throwing out like perhaps that could be a connection.
And similarly, the mysterious line that we've all been wondering for a long time about when Aaron Kruger mentions Armin and Mikasa to Grisha. Could that be something related to this as well? I think possibly.
I don't
It's
think
possible, but I've almost come to terms that he just somehow he just pulled a random memory from Aaron for some reason.
so. I hope it doesn't remain ambiguous, but I don't think this is linked to that line.
I don't know. I don't know if it's ambiguous anymore. To be, I know. In the past, I was very much, oh, we got to figure this out. But the anime seems to hammer it down that it was Aaron's memory that he just happened to get out of the blue.
Yeah, like it's either it is just that, like since it was Aaron reliving those memories, he could have just gotten it wrong in the memory, you know. But even then, that seems weird because they even make a thing out of it. Like they actually have a discussion about it. Like Grisha is like, "Who are they?" And Kruger is like, "I don't know. Must have been somebody
Yeah, he
else's
says, "I don't know."
memories."
They could, yeah, and that's to me that's what kind of set it in stone that it's just Aaron's memories. It's nothing because I thought it was something bigger like Aaron Mikasa or not Aaron Mikasa, Mikasa and Armin from another time or something like that. But
Yeah.
that's clearly not what it is. But I see what you're saying. It could maybe there is some sort of memory thing, but I guess they would have to go even farther back than what they already have. But
Yes.
it's possible.
I mean, yeah, because if they would go back to that time or so.
Yeah,
like when-
maybe Zeke wants to know what old Aaron said to Grisha when they kicked him off.
Yeah, for example, you know, there's little things like that. If they went back there, I think it's possible. I think this is the best explanation to that we got so far, in my opinion. Unless it is just a misremembrance on Aaron's
I
part.
mean, right now, all we know is that we're going forward. We're not going backward. Keep that in mind.
Unless we are.
But true, but I do see his point. Like they could go back. Like
They could go back,
like I said,
but
Zeke,
right now,
Zeke could want to.
And
Yes.
as we talked, or as I mentioned earlier in this discussion, what if they even went all the way back to the original Emir?
Yeah, I mean,
they could.
it's
know.
on the table. Like
It's possible. Yeah.
So so are we good to talk about like where they're gonna go in the future, like predictions?
For sure,
like,
yeah.
in the next chapter or something like that.
Go for it.
So my thinking is Aaron is somehow going to convince Zeke, or at least get Zeke to let him go. He's going to convince Zeke that his father wasn't that bad of a person, or that his issues aren't with the Eldians being, terrible people, or living in a terrible world or whatever. It's his daddy issues, and he's going to understand that and realize, well, maybe there's a better way we can do this. That father-son relationships in the Eldians can be good. Like, obviously my situation was terrible, but we can make a world where children can be born into and not have a terrible life like mine. And somehow through these memories, Zeke will realize that. I know that's maybe a little too hopeful thinking for me,
I would agree.
but
I could definitely see that if this conversation does continue, which of course it will. I could definitely see that being the case for sure.
And then again, Zeke is fairly hard-headed into his ways, so it could go that way, and then Zeke's just like, nah. We're gonna euthanize everybody. But I don't know. What do you think, Petter?
Well, I definitely think. I mean, they're definitely gonna keep doing memory revisits as we go into the next chapter. I feel because this chapter didn't really end with a cliffhanger or anything. It just ended kind of, and now Aaron is in control. Like Aaron has by now
that's
definitely
true. Good
taken control.
point.
He's taking the lead into the next memory, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, that's great because remember how Zeke was all like, we start when Aaron was crawling towards Grisha, he was like, he just said next,
yeah.
don't. But here, Aaron is the one who's like next memory, Zeke. Like
Exactly.
he says next.
Yeah.
You know,
Precisely.
he is becoming control. Oh, that's a good point, Petter. That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So maybe the next chapter will show memories from a different perspective. Maybe memories being shown for different reasons. I don't know.
Maybe different
Could
reasons.
be.
Hey, maybe eventually, hopefully, we'll like you mentioned Ymir. Maybe we'll get different people's memories. I don't know why, but
I mean,
maybe we will. I don't know. Not just focusing on Grisha.
There is. I've heard of one theory, and I'm a little bit torn on it. I'm like, it's maybe a little bit far fetched, but at the same time, it could be really cool if it was true. So there's at the very last panel of chapter 12, way back in the beginning of the manga.
Whoa.
There is a shot.
You lost me there.
I can just describe it to you. You don't have to look
Sure.
at it right
Okay.
away. You can look at it later. But
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
the last panel of chapter 12, that is exactly the moment when Titan Aaron punches Mikasa on the roof. You remember the moment?
Yeah.
Okay,
he's
well,
not
I
in
remember that in the anime.
I never read
but-
in the manga. I only saw it in the anime.
Right, but it's
I
the
do
same
remember that.
thing.
I do
you know?
remember that. I do remember
Yeah,
that. Moment.
it's that moment because Aaron is like his second or third time transforming, so he doesn't have control over his Titan power, Titan body, and he punches Mikasa's. And that exact panel shot of him punching Mikasa on the roof is like a big page image, and in the background, and it's funny too because it's in the background, but it's also very much in the center of the page, kind of. Far away, you can see a building, and there's a silhouette of two people standing in a mirror or in the window, like inside of the building. And this was during the struggle for trust, and
Right.
this was quite a far bit into the struggle for trust. Like it had been going on for quite a while, and the city was being evacuated. So why would there be two people standing inside of a house, just standing by the window looking out? I find that peculiar. What if it was Aaron and Zeke?
Hold on. We've had this conversation before.
I see what you're going.
Where there are things. How far ahead would the writer prepare?
So
That is- that is the
there's a couple
question.
way to answer it. What you could have someone think that far ahead. It's possible, but is it likely? I
How
think it's
likely?
more. It's more likely that he knew that he had put someone there. He had put like figures there, and that if he ever wanted to address it, he could address it in the future.
Precisely.
And perhaps this is it.
Maybe.
Oh.
And I don't know, and we don't know. Like it could just be like those were just NPCs, if you will, nobody important, or
Yeah.
Right.
He's going to tie it all together like that. I do think it's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's for certain or not, but if I read that, if I see that in the manga, like in the next chapter or two, that is like mind blown worthy of, throwback. You know what I mean?
Right? That would be
is
amazing.
some intense throwback.
If he actually did that.
I would love if it's the same panel, like the same shot, and then and then the next shot is it's a close up of Zeke and Aaron watching it. I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Whoa."
or maybe we just see it from inside the house. We see their backs and we see
I mean
through
that
the window.
that could work too, but
and
I
we
think
see
it'd
the
be
punch
really
from the
cool to
different
see that.
perspective.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. There's a couple ways.
Yeah,
I think it's possible, but not probable. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. And as I said, I'm also a little bit torn on it, like
Yeah,
whether it's actually going to be a thing. But it's
but
interesting.
I do like the thought. I mean, I wonder why they would go back to that point.
Yeah, I've also thought about that.
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna say,
I don't know
like,
exactly why.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's
Precisely.
very. I mean, yeah. Like, what would be the benefit?
Yeah.
so.
But one of the main reasons why I kind of can't really let it go is that it's even though it's in the distance, it's small, it's still like centered very nicely in the middle of the page or in the middle of the image. So it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it's a thing. And especially since, as I said before, the city was being evacuated, so there shouldn't have been civilians inside the buildings.
This is a instance of, remember when we were talking about the trapezoids and diamonds imagery? Yeah, I'm looking at that panel, And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't see it with my eyes, but maybe you can point it out to me later.
Yeah, you'll have to show us because I'm curious. You'll have to show us it later on in
For
the
sure,
chat or
absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Actually, okay. I see what he's talking about now. I had to zoom in on my phone. There's actually 4. There's 2 people on the first floor of the shed, and it seems to be like there's 2 more people on the second floor of the shed.
Well, I guess we'll talk about this later.
We can, but I still back to centering the conversation. It's possible, not probable.
Now I maybe this is a different battle, but weren't there like some soldiers who were in the buildings and then like they had guns and they were shooting at the Titans, but they got eaten? Or is that a different battle?
Well, no. So there was actually people, like soldiers cowering in the buildings, hiding from the Titans because they didn't dare go out.
So I am remembering that.
So that is also a possibility. It could just be 2 coward soldiers. You know,
who decided to look out the window at the right time, be like, "Oh dang!"
Yeah, exactly.
Nah,
so I mean, who knows?
But I see
really.
what you're saying. Okay, yeah. It would be cool if true.
It definitely would be.
Yeah, but I think this opens a lot of potential for. I guess this goes back to Steven's point. Who I mean, that's fair to have your own opinion. Who thinks that this. Not the story isn't going anywhere per se, but it's not like interesting.
Well, that's
you.
It's a difference between so here's basically my final thoughts of this chapter and where the story may be going. There is direction, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I just think that it's starting to get a bit ridiculous. More ridiculous than it's been. Because now we're seeing more of what we've seen in the past instead of Ymir looking at the stars, for example. That's very small and minute from what we've gotten in this whole chapter. Would you agree, Patter?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
I don't.
That's okay. I mean, I'm just talking about.
I mean, I agree with the fact that yes, they're taking it to the next level, but I don't think it's in any way a bad thing. And I think that the way they've been going, like the path that has led here has made sense, and it's been a good like gradual, Well,
path. What I meant for you agreeing with me was like this is starting to go more in depth to what we've seen in the past.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Never mind.
No, I think kind of see what you're saying is that before it was more ambiguous and just like hinting.
Yeah.
And kind of like nudging you in this direction, but now like we're getting to the point where it's just like blatantly here. It's obvious. This is what's happening. But I think when a story is ending, I think you have to get to that point. Otherwise, you kind of string readers along, and it's not as satisfying. It reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, or I guess just the manga itself, where you had the first homunculus. He has like a flashback at some point to he was in the flask.
Yeah.
The dwarf in the flask, or whatever they call it.
Exactly.
And I think he was with Hohenheim.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, and it reminds me of those flashbacks. How you get the whole backstory of that, and I feel like we're finally getting that sort of closure and understanding here, and not to that extent, but maybe we may get to that point. But especially with seeing the all the lines converging, and that tree and Ymir, to me it feels like we're very much at end game. It is that similar to finally understanding how the world all works.
Yeah, exactly. We're closing in on the end of the story, so of course a lot of answers are going to be given.
And I guess this might help, like, close my opinion a bit more. Keeping with the Full Metal Brotherhood example, I did not
watch
like
that show again.
I did not like the way that went. Like, I thought that the whole backstory with Hohenheim was a mess. But that's
That's
just
it.
me
I'm done.
personally.
I'm going home. I'm done. I'm already home.
Fine.
I'm unplugging
But
this.
that's just me.
Goodbye. See ya.
All right, bye, James.
I also
But
don't agree with you there, Stephen. But
then that's fine.
yeah,
We have
It's
a right
fine.
to
It's fine to have
disagree.
disagreements.
to each their own.
That's
You know,
okay.
your
But-
argument reminds me of some people who think that Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood in general are just too perfect. Like, they end too perfectly, and some people don't like that. I disagree. Like I think that there can be such thing as a too perfect ending, but I think that she did. I forget her name, but she did such a fantastic job with Full Metal Alchemist that I think
Oh
that
yeah.
to having a perfect ending like that is justably fine. And those people usually say, "Oh, I like the original anime, just the regular Full Metal Alchemist, more." You know, and I disagree with that. I think it's good, but I don't think it's good as Brotherhood. But some people just like this almost the sadder, somber tone that it all ends on. And
I guess so.
And there's some questions that are still that are still remaining that aren't completely answered. Is that what you're looking? Is that more of the kind of stuff you're looking for in Attack on Titan, perchance, Stephen?
I'm looking to, because we've talked about this in this recording where all three of us have gotten confused at one point or another on what is happening on the page. I don't like that.
Well, it's not so much confusion as it is. Well, it's not. They don't write the whole story on our noses. You know.
Yeah, they don't spell it out for you.
It's up for interpretation. We get to theorize a bit, and that's always been a thing of Attack on Titan. There's always been uncertain things and unclear things, and that's one of my main appeals with it. Or the thing that I love the most about it is that there's always things that we don't actually know, but that we can think about. Like right now, the main thing is probably what exactly is Aaron's plan.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
super interesting, and I can't wait to get that revealed eventually.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And I guess to a greater extent, like I guess Peter brought up, like, is Aaron dead? Like,
Right.
or is his body
I don't know.
regenerating?
I don't think his body will regenerate by itself. I think if he will survive this, it will be thanks to Emir's building body power.
Oh yeah. Yes, I agree. It's definitely
if
because
he
of that,
survives.
not his own.
Right.
Once
Attack
again,
on Titan
what I
power.
said at the very beginning of this discussion, an hour and a half ago,
Uh-huh.
plot armor.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like that word with exactly.
I'm kind of getting tired of the term plot armor, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's fun to make fun of Reiner for the plot armor, and
that. Yeah, it's
That's-
especially funny.
but
Yeah.
like, I don't know. There's a point where you can't just kill everybody. I mean, I do agree that I think he went too far with the whole severed head thing, but you know, it was suspenseful. It was a crazy cliffhanger, but it happened in the end. So I guess we
Yeah,
should move on.
I don't mind it personally. I think
Yeah, that's fair.
either he's going to be dead from this, or he's going to survive thanks to Emir's powers. And then it will make sense, because if he had been shot in any other way, then he could have probably just.
I agree. I think like
know.
him like growing a body like from his own powers like through his neck, or like, you know, he's
Yeah,
transferring
that's-
his consciousness. I mean, granted, I think that it would have been fine, but I think I even mentioned last podcast. I was like, I don't know. It seems kind of a not a stretch, but I just wasn't down with the whole head chopping of the head snapping, neck snapping thing. But
Fair.
but now that we're here and now this is happening, I think I'm okay with it all.
And you know, something else I've been thinking about regarding this is, I think if they keep going for another chapter, maybe 2 more chapters, with revisiting old memories from various points in time in the Attack on Titan story, it could be viewed as a nice little montage, as a little, dare I say, goodbye montage to Eren, and he will die right after this. What if that's what it turned out to be?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the real world,
be.
he's still his head is severed from his body in the real world still at
Sure.
this point in time, and
Yeah.
unless
It could be.
Ymir intervenes, he will most likely just die once they return to the real world.
You know what? Okay, I'll bite. All right.
Uh huh.
What if Oh, you agree with me? Okay. What if the last thing that they see is from, like, they're up with Gabby. They're up with Gabby as she gets ready to shoot him down. What if that's the last memory that they revisit? Because that's where Aaron's life ends, essentially.
Well, yeah. Although I don't know why that would be.
Well, so what would be the importance of showing that?
We have a start point, which is his birth, and an end point, which is his death.
Interesting. Yeah, it depends on what Zeke and Aaron want to show. I think, like we said, Aaron is definitely has suddenly has come control of this flashback episode.
Yeah.
I feel like Zeke or Aaron is leading him now. So where it's at this point, like maybe Aaron is the one who's going to be leading Zeke, and he'll decide where we go. So if Aaron wants to go see where he gets his head chopped off, sure, I guess.
Well, maybe since Zeke wanted to see Aaron's memories, maybe Aaron wants to go see Zeke's from Grisha's life with Zeke. Sorry.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
I could see them going anywhere at this point, honestly. Now that Aaron is taking the lead, I wouldn't really be surprised by anything, because...
Yeah, I mean, I expect them to go a little further into Aaron's childhood, maybe up until the point where he gets the attack Titan. But yeah, I agree that it could go anywhere.
I think that's a scene that they need to revisit. I want to see that scene.
Right.
I do too, actually.
I mean, we have seen it to an extent.
To an extent, but...
But what about...
Maybe even more. And then and Zeke can see it.
I want this point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could definitely be very interesting.
Yeah. I guess one more thing I'll say is that Aaron seems pretty confident that if he has Ymir Titan founder power thing,
exactly.
everything's gonna be okay. So,
yeah,
to me, if this ends up with him getting that power, which I think it will, unless he somehow changes Zeke's mind and lets Zeke live, I don't think he's gonna, like. I mean, my thinking is that either Zeke changes his mind and lets Aaron live, or Zeke doesn't change his mind and lets Aaron die. Like, you can't have Zeke change his mind and not have Aaron come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right. and the way this is going, I feel like Zeke is gonna have serious contemplation and maybe a serious change of mind. But again, I don't know. I'm not the writer.
Right. No, but I also think that's probably what's gonna happen. But who really knows?
It's true.
This is Attack on Titan we're talking about.
An eagle could come in randomly and be like, "I'm a Norse god mythological symbolism."
And before we wrap up, I'm going to keep this joke going until it happens, because I want to be right, and I'm going to be right. I just don't know how many episodes or chapters it's going to take. The next chapter is going to be when we find out what's going on with Hanji and Levi.
Well, yeah.
a lot of people felt pretty confident that was gonna be the next chapter.
Yeah.
I don't know what we said, but I was definitely leaning towards something like this, something like a.
Yeah, we were leaning towards no at the end, but I'm gonna keep saying until it happens.
I think even Petter mentioned some sort of a flashback. I guess it isn't really a flash. Well, it is a flashback.
It is in a way. It's not in the way I anticipated.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see Levi next. But I guess we could. You never know. But I feel like he's got a momentum going here, so I hope he doesn't kill it with "Let's see how Levi's doing." It's like,
right. The way I see it right here is that the next chapter will definitely continue where this one left off. But
part of me wants that, and part of me doesn't, but I don't know which outweighs which.
This is juicy stuff, man.
It really is. And so the way I see it is that either the entire next chapter is going to be this, or maybe just the first half or so. Like Maybe it will start with this and it will conclude after just the first half of the chapter, and after that maybe we could go to a completely different point in time
Yeah.
or
we
location
could.
in the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Possibly.
I will agree with you. I will say this, that there's no way that Levi's not going to be there in the final battle, quote. If such a thing exists.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
he
hard.
He can't just not be there.
Yeah.
It's
right?
hard to. Yeah, I agree, but I'm
We
I'm
need to
conflicted.
know how they catch up of sorts, I guess. As far as how many chapters down the line, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, we learned after the chapter before this one was released, I think Isayama made a statement saying that there was less than a dozen chapters left. And the way I see it, with there usually being 4 chapters in a volume, there should be either 2, 6, or 10 chapters left right now.
Not 2.
Yeah,
well,
I don't
hopefully
think it's
not.
2.
Hopefully not just 2.
No,
But I'm just saying.
I say that because it's to me. If I were writing this, it's impossible to wrap all this up in 2 chapters.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying it's like one of the technical possibilities, but it's like yeah.
Optimistically, I'm saying 10.
Yeah.
Realistically,
6.
I don't know.
Maybe?
In
I don't
between
know.
6 and 10. Like I don't know which one.
And of
could
course,
go
it
either
doesn't
way.
have to be one of these numbers, because there have been volumes with 5 chapters. Like I
Fair.
think two of the 28 volumes so far have 5 chapters.
And it wouldn't be terrible if the last volume was 5 chapters instead of 4.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind. I just, as long as the story is good, which it really is at this point. So far, I'm loving it. And this most recent chapter that we've been talking about in this episode, it felt psychedelic in an unexpected kind of way.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that tone that it had.
I feel like Aaron. This was really good for me because I feel like Aaron returned to post time skip Aaron.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like we had been kind of missing that, angsty teenager Aaron. I mean, we had gotten grown up like a leader kind of a thing, but he also became like, well, maybe he was still angsty, but he was like maybe just like too mysterious and too
Cool.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it just didn't feel right, but especially when that declaration, I can't say words. Declaration, there we go. That Zeke had a terrible that his euthanization idea was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That was like boom, there he
Yes.
is, and so it
Yeah.
was great to have that moment.
That line, and then followed by the because I was born into this world. That line.
Yes,
Like
those are 2 of the most powerful lines.
absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
It was awesome.
It's fantastic. Great chapter. Ended way too quickly.
Yeah.
I felt like it just went through it like drinking water. Like
Right?
It just was.
Yeah. It
So
took
quick.
me it took me about like half the time of a usual one, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
And the same amount
Somehow.
of pages. How is
Yeah,
that?
it's
How
so
is that?
strange. Yeah, and it's not like it's got a bunch of text still. So
Yeah.
I don't know why it felt so short.
I mean, there's like no action. So,
We'll find
Oh,
out more
man.
next month.
yeah, we will.
So,
Yeah, I can't wait. And this is probably the longest episode on this channel so far.
by a mile.
I'm so sorry.
I look forward to editing it. But yeah,
Good stuff though. Good stuff.
absolutely. This has been great. And was definitely one of those chapters that was worth
That's true.
analyzing. And it's been I had fun discussing it with you guys.
As did I.
I did as well.
Good.
You both opened my mind to many a thing.
Splendid.
Yeah.
And I hope to get a new chapter just as worthy of discussion for next month. And I'm sure we will
Here's
get
hoping.
that.
I swear, if it's Levi, I will.
I swear.
If the last half of the next one is Levi, I'd be fine with that.
Okay, that's fine, I guess.
Okay. Sure.
I guess. But if it's like entirely Levi and he's just like eating porridge or something like that, it's like.
Meanwhile.
But yeah, I'm awful at ending episodes, so I guess let's just end this one.
All right.
Thank you everyone so much for listening to us geek out about the most recent Attack on Titan chapter. We'll see you next week for chapter 121. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.